John from Mold Removal Center here, www.moldremovalcenter.com. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at mold cleaning products. So let's take a look. Your hardware store probably has a lot to offer in the mold killing product line. You just really look around for those bright green spray bottles. They look like Fungus Shield or Mold Armorizer or Rid Moldorama. And what they have in common besides these kind of names is that they work fine. But if you have a manageable amount of mold and you're looking for products that are safe, effective, and inexpensive, you don't really need to look farther than under your kitchen sink. So where does mold grow? Mold is a living organism, as I'm sure you know, and it thrives in the perfect tropical environments, the deep recesses of our homes that are damp, airless, meaning no air is moving through them, warm, and filled with the organic flotsam of our daily lives, like newspapers or carpet, drywall, books, clothes, wood, even your window blinds, and shoes. And what are the effects of mold? Now, when mold makes itself at home on one of these surfaces and the conditions are right, it begins to slowly do one of two things. It digests the material that it sits on, and it produces spores that can make you and your family very sick. Put those things together, not good. And because it can make you sick, you got to kill the mold quickly. But you must kill it with mold cleaning products that will be safe for both your family and your pets. But seriously, wouldn't it be great if the products you use to kill mold didn't do more damage to your home than the mold itself was doing? Thought so. Now, there are some safety measures you should always use when you're dealing with mold. Safely clean it off of those visible surfaces. Wear latex gloves, even some coveralls and long sleeves or long pants. Definitely a respirator mask so those spores don't get into your lung, and if possible, goggles to protect your eyes. Now, when you knock the mold around, you will release mold spores into the air, which is why you want to have all those things on. Spray the surface with water before you do anything so that when the mold starts to get moved around, it'll be wet, and at least you'll mitigate the possibility of the mold getting airborne. Rinse often and scrub hard. You definitely don't want to skip this step. This is important. Don't just wipe it and think the job is going to be done, because it's not. And then what you want to do is dry the area thoroughly using a dehumidifier and/or open all the doors and windows. Remember, damp conditions of some kind allow this mold to grow in the first place. So even though you just killed it, you got to make sure that there's no more moisture so the mold just doesn't come right back. So what are the next steps? These are optional, but we highly recommend them. The next step is to disinfect the area. Once you've cleaned and killed the mold and cleaned the mold, disinfect it with a mild bleach solution. Bleach is not so good for you, so you don't want to inhale those fumes from it either. And you could also use diluted white vinegar and water. The acidic nature of the vinegar helps make an inhospitable environment for mold, and then dry the area. Now, if you're removing mold from a wood surface like a windowsill or a baseboard, you might want to consider sanding it or repainting it with a mold retarding paint. Don't just paint over the mold. Not going to work. Make sure that the conditions that allow this mold, we covered this, but if the moisture or the lack of airflow is allowed to continue, gosh darn it, that mold's just going to keep coming back. So clean up and put away your protective gear once you're done cleaning it, and then store the cleaning supplies back under the sink. Now, if we want to go beyond the basics, if you got a bigger problem, you may have to bring in bigger guns, up to and including a mold inspector to find the problem areas, and then a mold removal company to safely remove all the molded materials that are harboring the mold itself. Bigger problems are going to look like a large area of mold, bigger than a 3-foot by 3-foot space. Mold that you can smell, but you can't see it. You know it's there, but you just can't identify where it is. Or, unfortunately, if this has happened, mold that's infested the structure of your home. That's important, and you got to call in the pros. If you've got wet carpets, or you ever had really wet carpets, furniture, or other fabrics, that's also a good indication you might have a big problem. So believe it or not, the best mold cleaning products aren't the fanciest ones or the most expensive ones, the ones with the longest list of ingredients. They might already be in your house. You add a little safety gear in, some elbow grease, and presto, you'll be mold free and you'll have saved money. Again, unless it's a big infestation, in which case you're going to have to call in the big guns. So that's it. MoldRemovalCenter.com. Check us out. We've got lots of different articles on how to get rid of mold in many different areas of your home. Use us whenever you want to be mold free.